Okay, folks, so I want to go back to the star trail recording from May 10th, where it looked like the stars just kind of completely blanked out a few different times, blanked out and came back on. Right there, you can see, and I do have some of the frames from that. Let's see, yeah, there we go. You can see where it looks like they kind of blanked out here a few different times, right? And that was back on May 10th. And I think it's kind of curious because if you watch this video, you could see prior to that occurrence, it was a pretty clear sky. There wasn't very much cloud cover, you know. And then right before, look, right before it blacks out for the first time, these clouds start rolling in, and then it gets really thick right as it comes back on and then goes back out several times. So I don't think that this would have been a natural weather occurrence. I think this was something that was created. Like they created a bunch of clouds because they didn't want anybody to see that these stars and lights in the sky were blanking out like that. I don't know. I don't There's no coincidences, right? But it's interesting though that right before that blacks out for the first time, in come the clouds. But thankfully that camera was able to kind of see through that cloud cover and still capture that effect. And I can go back through the frames here. You can see right there, no clouds, no clouds, a few clouds rolling in, and then it's blacked out. And yeah, I don't think that's a coincidence that those clouds rode in right before the stars blanked out. And this was back on May 10th. Okay. So then on June 4th is when the stars did this funky little glitchy looking thing, right? Where they did this like little hop. You can see right there. It does like a little hop. And again, I have to reiterate, this isn't um because the camera itself moved or the camera was repositioned or anything like that. Because if that was the case, these all would be moved in the same type of directions. But if you look, the ones on this side are blown out in this direction, pushed out in this direction, all the way around it, like something from, another point here pushed out. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of curious. And then, of course, what happens then, on the 5th, a few nights ago? And we have this little glitchy thing where they all appear to just back up for a couple seconds, almost like there was something influencing it and it caused it to do a repeat. It repeated itself. The signals repeated themselves. And I think that's kind of curious because right now, in case y'all aren't familiar with the whole atomic clock signal and the time signal that's been broadcast for decades from none other than Colorado. I could show you here on a map. The NIST radio station, WWV, is located in Colorado. Okay. And we zoom in here, we can see what the antenna array system looks like. Right there, you can see, here's their radio towers, all spanning out in like an array, right? And it is curious that there's these crop circles across the road, across the pond, so to speak, from them too. And this is a sod farm. And I mean crop circles, not like in the alien sense. I mean actual crop circles. These would be called crop circles because they are growing grass, growing sod. This is a sod farm. And this is a grass crop. So this is kind of like a 3/4 crop circle, if you want to say. It's just curious to see these across. There's another one over here, like a half of one here. It's interesting to see those right across from the NIST radio station here in Colorado. And something that is really curious about this is that they started to broadcast back in 2021 a test signal on minute 8 of each hour, and it was created to assist in ionospheric research and is a joint effort of the Ham Radio Citizen Science Investigation and NIST. The signal consists of various tones, chirps, and Gaussian noise bursts. The signal may be modified occasionally for more information. Now, they started broadcasting that in 2021. They were supposed to have ended it. I don't know if they're still broadcasting it or not, but one of the towers was recently taken out, and I think that's kind of curious. WWVB south antenna damaged by severe wind, and this was put up on May 22nd. Okay, after after my camera captured what looked like the stars going out here, then NIST reports that one of their antennas was damaged, and they show some imagery here And this is interesting. I received an interesting text a few days before April 2024 meeting from Matt Dooch, chief engineer at WWB about damage to the WWBB south antenna from a major windstorm here on April 6th and 7th. Wind speeds were clocked locally in the 70-mile-per-hour range, with gusts recorded at over 90 miles per hour. I-25 in nearby Wellington was shut down in both directions due to overturned semis and blowing debris. The entire front range of Colorado was impacted by the severe wind event, and apparently it damaged one of their antennas. And I think that's curious. Yeah, there's the official notice. Let me go to that. Yeah, the WWBB station outages. They put out a notice from approximately April 7, 2024. WWBB's south antenna has been disabled as a result of damage from wind gusts in excess of 95. Oh, WWBB continues to operate at reduced overall power using its north antenna only. So this tower here, the south one, was taken out by wind damage. So now they're only using this north tower. I just think that's curious that this broadcast station it had some damage to one of their radio antennas, right? It says here, update 20 May 2024, the components necessary for the refurbishment of the southern antennas triadic are currently being manufactured and shipped. The projected timeline for the completion of these repairs is tentatively set for the latter part of June 2024. We would like to emphasize that this is an estimated timeline and may be subject to alterations based on a variety of factors. We greatly appreciate your understanding and patience during this process. So it's interesting in another aspect that they would have this outage. And then I captured this weird stuff going on where they get disrupted and then they get like just pushed out, these stars, right? And then they do this rewind thing. And also, they had began a test signal testing the ionospheric scientific modulation test. And now my husband and I had picked this signal up. Before I looked into what it was, we were listening to the atomic clock ticking away on the little radio we have. And all of a sudden it broke in with this notification from the space weather, and they were going to be broadcasting this. And it began in November of 2021, and it was only supposed to be temporary. And I don't know if they're still broadcasting it. I need to look up current information on that, but yeah, I'll play it for y'all and you can listen to it. It sounds very trippy. I had put up a video, I had recorded it several different times and put up a video and called it the Star Wars signal. But I'm wondering if it isn't connected to, something to do with those lights, with some of those lights in the sky.
At the tone, 22 hours, 8 minutes, Coordinated Universal Time.
Follows is a scientific modulation test. For more information, visit hamsci.org/WWV.
At the tone, 23 hours, 8 minutes, Coordinated Universal Time.
Anyway, that's what I have dubbed the Star Wars signal. That was the signal that was being broadcast as part of a ham radio operator science experiments. That's why they call it HamSci. So I'm wondering, what are they going to do now with the south antenna being blown out by a windstorm and disabled? And what is going to become of that project? I'm wondering what the ham radio operators think about it, because there's a few videos out there showing their, response to this occurring, but there's not a whole lot. And I just think that that is very curious that at the same time they're having issues with their radio towers and them broadcasting that the Star Wars signal, my camera is capturing the star trail lights doing some very interesting things. I mean, you have to agree that this should not be occurring. These lights in the sky in this recording, this is a solid recording. I've done nothing to it. This is as it was recorded, original. Okay. And they just completely black out. Okay. But, then all of a sudden a bunch of clouds roll in, you know, I gotta wonder if some of these lights in the sky and that we're seeing are necessarily burning balls of gas, but rather signals and things being beamed up into the upper atmosphere in the ionosphere. And at the same time, they're having issues with their antennas and their array system. 4 days ago, I captured this as well. I mean, what if they're trying to reestablish that antenna and refurbish and repair that antenna, and maybe they're having some issues being able to like reconnect to that same spot where they were broadcasting prior when the antenna went out. I don't know. I'm speculating, of course. There's no way that I could possibly prove it. And I have sent out several emails sharing these video clips. That shouldn't be happening with the stars in the sky right there. They shouldn't be just backing up during a recording of a time lapse video. And it's just curious to me because of, you know, this association in Colorado, even because the way that these stars are positioned in the sky according to our location and stuff too. I mean, this is right off to the northeast of our location. Okay, I'm going to zoom out way out here. We're down over here in southern Nevada, and that station is up here. Okay, the camera was faced right directly due north. And I mean, I guess it's not really lined up completely, but I don't know, folks. I think that this whole signal that they were allowed to broadcast like this and this whole experiment, the ionospheric experiment, this is something that really should have been put up to a vote with the public. They shouldn't be allowed to just manipulate and alter our upper atmosphere and manipulate the ionosphere so freely like they do. And then for this particular ham site project, they did get some public support because they have all of these ham radio operators, all these hammies out there that wanted to be able to pick up the signal. They wanted to test their capabilities. And boy, they did. And they also, part of this test was testing public awareness too. And how many people really truly are paying attention to this stuff? How many people really? I mean, how many people seriously know that back on May 10th, not even a month ago, the freaking stars in the sky blacked out? Did you notice? How many people would have noticed? And how many more of these other experiments have they been able to get away with without people even noticing? And seriously, would anybody really notice if a third of the stars just blacked out and ceased to exist? Like it says, I mean, I'm talking in a physical sense or in this world sense and not biblical sense, but it does make a reference to stars being cast out, of the sky in the Bible. I mean, I don't know, folks. It's frustrating for me because, you know, the liberty and the freedom that some of these agencies and organizations just take at the public expense is quite astounding. I don't want you beaming our ionosphere. You don't need to be doing that for me. I guarantee you that it's not necessary for our existence. This is for like scientific research. We're trying to find signals way out there in the deep blue sky, right? I don't consent. I don't think that it's necessary. I don't think they should be allowed to just be in the freaking ionosphere. And then you've also got HARP up here doing their thing, and you got all kinds of array systems throughout the whole world. Every country has them. Every continent has these, array systems where they're beaming the ionosphere. And then you want to sit there and tell us here at ground level that there's global warming and that we're heating up. I wonder fucking why. Hello, hello, McFly. I just It's trippy, and wanted to reiterate and re-show that how these clouds just move right in right before the stars in the sky black out and then black and come back on, black out, blink out. Do you think that's really a coincidence? I don't know. It's frustrating. Anyway, I wanted to show this too. This was from last night. Let me see if I can find the actual video for this. Yeah, that's one of the frames. I don't can't find the video. I know there's a video for it. Hang on. Bear with me. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, right. 558, 579. Yeah. This is the time lapse from last night. And you can see right there, that's what planes will typically look like on these captures. They look, like this dotted line right here. That's what most planes look like. So, um, Let me see if I can find the other one here. So, maybe, maybe it was this one. Yeah, it was this one here where that really faint uh, line right here appeared through this capture where the stars repeated themselves. That's that faint line through that, but you could see that's really weak. Whatever that was that went through this capture when the stars were reversing and replaying, it was, I don't think it was a plane because this is what planes typically look like on these time-lapse videos right here. So I don't know, folks. I think there's definitely some more experimentations and things going on, and I'm wondering if what this was. And then they said back on, what was it, the 7th was when that went out? Yeah, on the 7th of April was when that tower suffered damage. Yeah, on April 6th and April 7th was when the tower suffered damage, and then it was on the 10th when I captured what looks like the stars, blinking out like they did. So I would be remiss if I didn't actually state what I really think was going on, because I think they are testing EMP resilience training and resilience research. I think we were subjected to something a little bit more than just some radio frequencies being beamed up in the sky and then bounced back down at us. I don't like it. I really don't. This is not normal. This should not be happening. I'm telling you that right now. The stars should not be blacking out and then coming back on. And then do you really think that it's just a coincidence that at the same time that that stuff is going on, there's a major radio station tower, a big old radio station tower that broadcasts the universal time, the atomic clock time, goes out, gets damaged by wind, right? This one up here. Oh no, it's the south one. That's right. It's the south tower. The north one supposedly is still running, but the south tower here suffered damage. Just, there's no coincidences. But are the two related? I don't know. I have more footage that I want to share. I have some Janet jets I want to share, and a little bit of information about cultural Marxism, which is interesting. And then I also have a recording from a testimony of somebody that saw something called sky ice, and I want to share that too. So that's up and coming. Anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. I really appreciate it. I know I'm just it. There's some kind of a comfort level, I guess, knowing that people are seeing this too and witnessing it with me. And I would like to get some answers, but I don't think I'll ever get any answers or explanations from anyone on this. I doubt very seriously I'll get anybody to even reply to any of the emails that I sent, because I'm not part of that community. I'm not part of that group. And people like me that want to question stuff like this, that want to dig deep and go back and find the actual answers and the proof, aren't going to get addressed. We just won't. I'm just curious to see what anybody from the scientific community would have to say about this. And I'm just guessing, but I'm guessing that they're going to try to say that it's something to do with the camera. And if that's the case, then Nikon, you owe us a fucking refund. Because if your camera is doing shit like this and shit like this, then you have a shitty ass camera and you owe us a fucking refund, because we didn't pay for a camera to record things in the sky just for it to fucking mess up and fuck up, several times in a month's period. If this is something to do with the camera, then Nikon owes us an explanation and a fucking refund on your shitty ass fucking P950. Right? Anyway, it wouldn't be a video on my channel without me ranting and cussing and horsing and snorting. Okay? So just, if that bothers you, I don't mean to offend you. That's just how I am. And cuss words are part of my vocabulary. So just saying. Thanks for watching. Know that I appreciate you and that you matter very much to me. And there's definitely more to come if I can help it.